And now here's the omnibus edition of Waggoner's Walk. Cressida has decided that Maurice needs consolation after failing to become editor of the Herald.
Go away, whoever you are.
Maurice, are you there?
Oh, my God.
Please open the door.
What do you want?
To see you, of course. Can I come in?
You've not wanted to see me for the past few weeks. Why change your mind now?
I'm not very consistent. Are you going to let me come in?
All right. I'll have a good gloat. Nice place, isn't it? Almost the spitting image of the dump I lived in when we first met. Except the rent's a good bit higher, of course.
How much? No, I'm sorry. It's none of my business.
You're dead right it isn't. Well, if you're stopping, you better sit down. Have a chair. I'll take the bed.
Thanks.
I'd offer you a drink, but it's all gone.
That's all right.
Oh, I'd be polite.
I'm doing my best.
Showing your good breeding.
If you like.
Mummy would be proud of you.
No, she wouldn't. She would have wanted me to leave well alone.
So, how did you hear? Oh, stupid question. I expect Dickon was straight on to you with the good news. They probably even threw a party at the Herald to celebrate.
Is that why you didn't go back to work this afternoon?
Okay. I chickened out. No, but it was doing them a favour, too. I wouldn't have been very good company.
Oh, my.
No pity, thanks.
Sorry. Doesn't leave me with much scope, does it? You don't like me being polite. You'd resent it if I gloated. And now even sympathy's not allowed.
That's right. I was daft enough earlier to think I might get some sympathy, but I didn't. So now I've decided to live without it.
I don't understand.
Well, I went round to see Cliff and Shirley. They're supposed to be my friends. Wouldn't even open the door. Cliff told me to get lost over the intercom.
Why didn't you come and see me?
What, after the reception I got the last 2 times I called?
That was different.
Oh, I see. You'll give me the time of day as long as I'm a failure.
That's not fair.
Well, tell me this then. Would you be here now if Milton Monk had kept his promise and made me editor? Not bloody likely you wouldn't.
I might have found an excuse.
Oh, sure.
I did want you to get the job.
Well, safe for you to say that now, isn't it?
But it's true. And as for coming to see you, yes, I admit that Liz getting the job gave me the opportunity, but I'd already been looking round for other chances.
Oh, so that's why you were always so friendly when our paths crossed.
Couldn't afford to give in without a struggle.
And now you think I'm weak enough to handle?
No.
Stop kidding yourself.
I love you, Maurice.
As long as I can be patronised. Aye, we always had our ups and downs, Cressy. But the biggest down came when it looked like I was going to make a success of things. I find that pretty significant.
That's cruel and untrue.
Well, please yourself, but that's how I see it.
So you won't come back?
You really expected me to?
It's what I'd hoped for.
Well, then you didn't learn much about me in our time together.
But I still want to learn.
Given our differences, I reckon we've had a good run for our money. But it doesn't make any sense to go on.
I see. After what happened today, you want to become a fully fledged defeatist.
Oh, no, quite the opposite. I want to clear the decks for action. I've got a whole lot of things to sort out. Like whether I should even stay at the Herald.
Thanks a lot, Maurice. It's nice to know I'm just something to be brushed aside.
Oh, that's not what I meant. You weren't still there to be considered until a few moments ago.
Oh, I apologize for getting in the way. How inconsiderate of me to want to help the man I love.
I'm sorry.
So you never even thought we'd get back together again?
I thought about it all the time, woman.
Come back to the flat, then.
I can't.
All right, Maurice. I'm not going to plead with you or distract you from making the other decisions you're busy making. At least it doesn't look as though I'm leaving you in a state of self-pity, which is probably what Liz was worried about.
Liz?
Yes. She came and told me what had happened. She was worried about your not going back to the office. I think she genuinely felt for you, Maurice. I wonder if you would have bothered about her if you'd got the job.
Hey, Bill! I am back! And about bloody time. Where have you been, Alexis?
I'm late.
What do you think?
I'm late. I'm sorry, Billy, but I have a good excuse.
I'll bet. What's her name?
Belinda. No. That was later. First, I go to the hospital. And now, look.
I'm looking.
But you do not see.
Only your grinning face, which I can live without right now.
But it's mended. My leg. The plaster, she's off. You see it now?
I cannot tell a lie. I see it.
So?
So, well done.
Thank you. You are very kind towards me, Bill.
Too kind by half. So, up to now, your favourite excuse has been, my leg broken. And from here on, you expect me to take my leg mended instead, eh? Well, when exactly did you go to the hospital?
Late this afternoon.
Without telling anyone?
I wanted to be surprised.
But you didn't come straight back? Or was there an incredibly long queue full of nutters who've broken their legs playing soccer on tube escalators?
No, I think I was the only one.
Well, the only one in the queue?
No, I was the only nutter. There was quite a long queue. So, when the plaster is off, after such a time, I feel tremendous liberation. I have to celebrate.
Leaving me to do your job here till 9:30. I ought to strangle you.
But I only just come from the hospital.
Well, only just.
Well, nearly only just. Belinda, she is not a patient woman. I'm very sorry, Bill. Okay? How is the new night chef getting on?
Very smoothly, thank God. Well, there's not much left for you to do apart from some stacking.
Wonderful. That means I can do more celebrating later. I go and telephone Rob at the restaurant. See if he will come to the nightclub with me.
Yeah, but what about...
I'll only be 3 seconds. I promise. Oh my God.
Where the hell have you been? And where the hell are you going?
To phone Rob. Be back soon, Mr. Bryan.
So, the little devil turned up then.
For a few minutes.
How come he was moving so fast?
Apparently the leg's okay.
Oh, thank heavens for that.
Yeah, except I don't think he sees his recovery in the same light as you and me. Instead of getting down to more work, he's planning to make up for lost time out on the town.
That's what he thinks.
You better tell him then, Matt. I don't think I got the message through.
What's he phoning Rob for?
Needs a pal to go nightclubbing with.
Ruddy chink. All's well here, is it?
Aye. No, for once, the agency's sent a chef who knows what he's about, isn't temperamental, and isn't afraid of hard work.
That's what I like to hear. Well, if he's that good, we'll be able to get on with the expansion program even faster than I thought. I'll go and give the lad a word of encouragement.
Why don't you just let him get on with it for the time being?
You suggested I might put my foot in it again. I said I was going to give him a pat on the back, not a kick up the backside.
I know that, Matt. But if you start telling him, well, because he's so good, that we're going to be working him even harder...
It might scare him off.
Well, it's possible. Best not to take the risk. Let him get used to things as they are for the moment.
Okay. I'll trust your judgment for once.
Oh, thanks.
But as to this lazy tyke...
My plans, all spoiled.
That's good. He can see into the future.
Rob, he said he much too tired to come out to the club. He was never too tired before.
He's obviously getting some sense in his old age.
But there would be girls and wine and dancing.
You had girls and wine after they took your plaster off.
But no dancing.
Oh, shame.
You mean you took one of your women along to the hospital with you?
Oh, no. She was someone I don't know before. A nurse. Belinda. I took her up while I wait.
Chat her up. Heck, Matt, how does he do it?
We're back, Father. Father?
Oh, it seems a shame to wake him.
Well, I don't think he'd thank us if we let him sleep in his chair all night, do you, darling? Father!
Oh, you lendings. Huh? Oh, what? Who is...
Don't worry, it's only us.
Oh, do you have to push me about like that?
I only touch you on the shoulder, and very gently.
Well, I thought it was an intruder, and Oh, well, I suppose I must have been dreaming.
The house doesn't look as though it's been broken into.
Anyway, a sensible intruder would have let you sleep on soundly.
You both seem to be in a very flippant mood.
We had a very good dinner. No trouble from the children, I hope.
Fortunately not, Elizabeth. Must be very late if I was asleep.
Well, it's only 10:30, as a matter of fact.
And you don't call that late?
Celebratory jaunts usually go on longer, but we decided to continue here at home.
Oh, dear. Does that mean you'll be having some sort of social gathering at this hour?
Oh, only a very quiet and select one, Arthur. Just the three of us.
You're including me?
Well, if you feel like it. Father, there's something we'd like to talk to you about.
Well, I'm afraid it'll have to wait. It's far too late and I must go to bed.
Oh, well, please yourself.
It's a matter of necessity, not pleasure.
Well, thank you very much for babysitting for us.
And since you chose to mark your promotion in this fashion, I could hardly refuse.
In this fashion? You only went out for a meal, Father.
That is what I meant. Oh, by the way, there were a number of telephone calls, Elizabeth. People wanting to congratulate you. I made a note of the names. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Night. I must see who all my well-wishers are. Guess what Arthur's idea of a number of calls is?
3.
No, I'm not quite that famous. 2. Claire and Lynn. Still, that's better than none.
Well, darling, it's going to take a few days for the word to get around, you know.
Oh. Meanwhile, what's it to be? Coffee or more alcohol?
How about both?
Good thinking.
I wish Father had stopped long enough to let us tell him that we're going ahead with the extension.
Well, you could always make it a surprise. At least until the builders turn up. Oh, there's a bit of brandy left. Will that suit you?
Perfectly.
I'd better make mine a very small one. I don't want to have a hangover on my first full day as editor-elect. There we are, darling. Here you are.
Thanks. Darling, good luck.
I think I'm going to need it now and then. Like tomorrow in my first dealings with the defeated Maurice. If he puts in an appearance.
Coming.
Hi, Dad.
Tony.
Oh, you remember me?
Just. And I'm on my way to the office.
Oh, Dad. Thought I'd catch you at breakfast. I got stuck in the traffic.
God, you picked the strangest visiting times.
Well, not really. If you went to the States, you'd find they're right into breakfast meetings.
Oh, would I? Well, you better come through to the kitchen, but I must be going very soon.
Oh, tough.
Oh, but do I take it you've recently been to America?
Yeah. Just popped over for the weekend. Concord. Did a few nice little deals. Very productive. Oh, hello, Mum.
Hello, darling. Lovely to see you.
Oh, he seems to have become a transatlantic commuter.
So I overheard.
Oh, I don't think I'll be making a habit of it. I hate having to sit still that long.
Well, didn't they let you pace up and down the aisle?
No such luck. Too many stewards and stewardesses in the way.
How are Kirsten and Adam?
Oh, great. Oh, Kirsten said, would you like to go to lunch?
I'd love to. When?
Today.
I'd have Sue with me.
Oh, that's all right. I expect our food stocks will stretch that far. The divorce seemed to be progressing without any hitches.
Oh, Sonia hasn't fallen out with her fiancé then?
Oh, doesn't look like it.
Good.
So I think we're entering a golden era on all fronts.
The record company's
Oh,
flourishing.
you bet. That's one reason I'm in the area. I'm calling on our first star. Now, I won't say superstar yet, but next week maybe. I did warn you, Dad.
Warn me?
Ah, tip you off then. Here, have a look at this.
Well, what is it?
The latest singles chart, hot off the press. Tucked in at number 9, which 2 weeks from release isn't bad going.
Blue spaghetti.
Sung by our very own Trudy Window.
Trudy Window?
Yeah, she lives round here. When we signed her up, I offered Dad a chance to give her a spread in the Herald.
Yes, which I declined. But that was ages ago. And you were releasing a record of hers then.
Yeah, that was her first record. It bombed, partly my fault. We were rushing things. Ah, but now she's really integrated.
So I missed out after all.
Well, not unless you still can't spare some eager young reporter to go round to her place.
How can you refuse, Mike?
Well, I don't think I can this time.
Great. I always like to do me old man a favour.
Thanks.
Hello, Liz. You're in early.
I have to start setting a good example, don't I?
Like the tough editors of the old school, living at the office.
Which old school would that be, Dickon?
The Hollywood movie school.
Thought it might be. I wonder how I can make myself look like something out of the front page.
You can't, I hope.
Is that a compliment?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Is Maurice here?
Not yet.
Has anyone actually seen him since he went off to his lunch with Milton Monk?
Your sister might have. I called at Cressida's flat last night to tell her what had happened.
How did she take it?
Well, before I managed to get the news out, she was being very scathing about him. Then she changed her tune a bit.
So reconciliation is on the cards.
She don't sound very pleased at the prospect.
Well, if it makes Cressy happy. If.
Oh, dear. Perhaps I should have kept out of it. But I was suddenly worried that Maurice mightn't be able to cope on his...
Am I interrupting something?
No, not at all, Maurice. How are you?
I'm fine. Fine.
Shall I go and do something?
As opposed to standing there doing nothing, you mean?
No need for you to make yourself scarce, Dickon.
Oh, right. Just as well, really. The most urgent work is scattered around my desk.
Well, let's see you unscattering it then, laddie.
Right away.
Liz,
Yes?
since this is the first chance I've had, congratulations.
Thank you, Maurice.
Will you let me buy you a drink later?
Yes, please.
Good.
Morning, all.
Morning,
Hello,
Mike.
Mike.
Hello, Mike.
Oh, Dickon. Dickon, I've got a job for you.
Yeah, but I
know you're snowed under already, but I think it might interest you all the same. An interview with a rising pop star.
Classical music's more up my street.
Well, in that case, it'll broaden your mind. Now, here's the address. She's called Trudy Window.
I like this story.
Yes, well, that's one of the things Dickon can find out for us, what her real name is.
She's expecting me.
At 11:30. I'm afraid my son set it all up. She records for his company.
I'd better do some instant research. Does anyone round here know anything about pop music?
Try Marion on the switchboard.
Oh, right, yes.
And now, could I have a quick chat with you and Maurice in my office, Liz?
Yes, of course.
And that brings us on to new staff. Now, we'll have to advertise for another reporter.
Not to replace me, surely.
Oh, well, not directly. But I'm going to get Jill Moon to take over the woman's page.
Oh, I see.
The new reporter will be instead of her. In fact, yes, perhaps we'd better call Jill in and let her know straight away.
Oh, you'll be lucky. We hardly catch sight of her from 1 week to the next.
Well, we'll take a chance and give her a shout anyway, will you?
Anyone seen Jill Moon by any remote chance?
I'm here! Do you want to hear it again?
Well,
Well, it doesn't bother me if you don't. I'm sick of listening to it.
even though it's you singing it.
Even though I wrote it, too.
Oh.
It's been buzzing around my brain for far too long.
Blue Spaghetti is a very unusual title.
Well, the guy who inspired it was a very unusual Italian waiter. Oh, no, he wasn't. He was a bastard.
Ah, you have trouble with men. Sorry, I didn't mean to...
Get personal. Isn't that your job?
Well, in some circumstances. But I still find it difficult.
Oh, I think you've been doing pretty well. In fact, I think you're wonderful.
You do?
Well, you turn up, having never heard my amazing hit record. In fact, I suspect you hadn't even heard of me till Tony's old man told you to come along here. Right?
Afraid so. Now, if you'd been involved in classical music...
I was. I trained as a cellist. Oh, look at him. He's shocked. A worthwhile talent thrown away.
I'm sure what you're doing now is worthwhile.
Don't believe you for a minute. I don't mind. Oh, you're such a relief after those bums from the music press who were here yesterday. In fact, I got this terrible urge to bolt the door and keep you here. All to myself.
Oh. Well, I wouldn't object. Except that I do have some deadlines to meet.
First bloke I've fancied in months and he's in a hurry.
Well, not that much of a hurry.
Ah.
Though I still have a few questions I'm supposed to ask you. Like whether Trudy Window is your real name.
It's on my checkbook and my passport.
Yes, but...
Shh. Let's have a natural break first.
Here you are, Liz.
Oh, lovely. Cheers.
Ah. Hi. Congratulations. Again.
Thanks. Oh. Sorry I was a bit late getting here.
Oh, that's okay. Was there any sign of Dickon before you left?
Yes. He came in looking in a bit of a daze.
Oh, well, we'd better snap out of that this afternoon. Did he have anything to say about this singer?
Well, I didn't have time to ask him, except about her name.
Oh, what is it?
According to Dickon, it really is Trudy Window.
Oh, he'd fall for anything.
I'm very relieved you came in today.
I'm sorry about yesterday afternoon. Very unprofessional. But I had to have time to think.
Yeah, I can understand.
But I hope you realise I'll be doing my job properly from now on.
I'm sure you will.
Which means that when you take over, I'll fight for what I think is right, as I've always done with Mike.
I wouldn't expect anything different.
Good. So we know where we stand.
Yes.
Almost, that is.
I'm sorry?
I accept that you'll be running the paper. I don't think that Milton made the right decision, but I accept that. But I'd be glad if you didn't interfere in my private life.
Oh, God.
Cressy told me you'd been to see her.
And I should have left well alone, shouldn't I?
Even though you probably had good intentions.
I won't do it again, Maurice.
That's all right, then. Drink up, and I'll get you another.
No, let me. You're not back together, then?
No. We're most definitely not back together.
Hi.
Hey, Rob.
Well, you look cheerful.
Do I?
Lost a quid and found 2p. Oh, dear. I think I've gone off women. Yeah. You know what I mean.
Don't worry. I won't leap in to take advantage. What happened then? Tell your Uncle Rob.
It's absolutely extraordinary. I went to interview this girl for the Herald. She's just starting to do well as a singer. And things sort of...
Blimey, O'Reilly. You're really going to town these days, aren't you?
Well, I didn't go there with that in mind. Just happened. Thanks to her, mainly. She's very attractive.
Mm. Sounds like love.
Much good may it do me. When I was leaving, I asked her, "Can I see you again?"
And she sweetly replied,
"Yeah. On television."
Poor old Dickon. It was a very brief encounter.
Yeah, but up till then I thought... Oh, I don't know. Well, it's a very expensive-looking box by your chair.
Yeah. It contains a very expensive shirt. Present from an admirer.
Mr. Rocky Rowland's?
The same. I haven't risked falling for him, though.
Well, Rob, our respective emotional lives may be...
unfulfilled?
Well, at least now we can talk to each other about it.
Carol, where the hell are you?
Downstairs!
What on earth are you down here for?
Oh, I thought I'd start planning where everything's going to go.
Oh.
You know, Vince said Tom would be showing up today.
Oh, Mr. Moneybags.
Don't be like that, Debbie.
Why not?
Because if Tom helps to set up the food co-op, we ought to feel good towards him.
He's a hustler, Carol. You might think your food co-op will be a nice, idealistic affair, but someone like Tom is out for profit.
You're a cynic.
And you're a fool.
Look, if Tom was like that, he'd be a businessman.
He is a businessman, love. Just happens to wear torn jeans and a dirty sweatshirt.
Yeah, I reckon he looks dead nice.
That I don't deny, but... Oh, never mind.
Well, I'm not going to let you spoil it for me, Debbie. Soon this place is going to be just like it used to be.
It used to be a blooming delicatessen.
Well, all right, so our stuff won't be fancy, but folks can buy it here in bigger amounts. Oh, it'll be great. Huge sacks full of wholemeal flour, hundreds of different sorts of beans and...
Are there hundreds of different sorts of beans?
Oh, I don't know. But we'll have every type there is.
Probably have mice as well.
No, we won't. I'm going to get a cat. Yeah, you're in a right old mood, aren't you?
As usual. Sorry.
Saw Shirley this morning.
Oh, do me a favour.
Told her you were keeping the baby.
Carol, what do you want to do that for?
Sorry.
Wish I could go straight into labour now and get it over with.
Just what I was like.
Yeah, well, I didn't mean that quickly. I'd like him to get me into hospital first. So, what's going to happen? Will you run the shop all on your own, or will the lads bother to lend a hand?
Vince might. Not sure about Roger. He's been a bit restless. I reckon he might be moving on.
Meanwhile, Tom will control the purse strings from his office in the city.
He doesn't have an office there, does he?
Yeah. When no one's looking, he secretly changes into a suit.
Oh, like Superman-like.
Right. Oh, talk of the devil, here he comes now, flying across the road.
Oh, heck. You've done it now, Debbie. I used to think he was a friend, and now I'll be all suspicious.
Just try not to show it, babe.
Hi, kids.
Hello, Tom.
So, this is the place. Yeah, it's great. Perfect.
Look, we've got all these shelves and things left over from when it was a delicatessen, so that saves a lot of work.
And bread, as they used to call it in the 60s.
What you call it in the 80s?
Money.
Right.
How's it going, Debbie? How's the baby?
Approaching the starting line?
Due soon, eh?
If not sooner.
So, the kids can hang out in the back room while you two run the store.
Well, I don't know how we'll fix it. I'm going back to work on the paper as soon as I can.
The Capitalist Press?
Not the bits I write.
But I'm ready to get started, Tom. Just as soon as we can get the goods in stock.
Well, it's like this. I'm afraid the money just isn't there right now.
You what?
Here we go.
It's not my fault. My last few deals have gone sour on me. Leaves me no choice but to cool it for the moment.
Just when I thought we were getting it together.
Oh, don't look so sad, Carol. All will come right in the end. Is Vince around? I need to rap with him.
As they used to say in the 70s.
Yeah, that's right.
He's upstairs.
Okay, see you.
I'm sorry, Carol. I didn't think he was going to be that bad.
Oh, hello, love. Didn't expect you back so soon.
Well, there weren't many lunchtime bookings, so I've left Rob to it. I'm not sure if I ought to have, but I am going down to Maidenhead this afternoon. Gives me the chance for an early start.
Well, I don't know what you're getting at. Rob's supposed to be able to run the place on his own. It's his job.
Yes, but he was looking so exhausted.
For which I suppose you'll blame me. He volunteered to do all that cooking for us,
I'm not blaming you. It does bother me seeing him like that.
I thought he was getting in some early nights.
He told you that?
Oh, not me. Alexis.
Oh.
Rob refused to go tripping the light fantastic with him to celebrate the plaster coming off.
Alexis is so irresponsible.
I would have been if I'd let him. In fact, I put a ban on late-night clubbing for him as well.
I thought he'd been looking subdued.
You'll get over it. And so will Rob, I expect. Hard-working weekend shouldn't finish off a lad like him.
He blamed it on insomnia and something called biorhythms.
Biorhythms? What are they when they're at home?
Search me.
Sounds like some sort of suggestive dance. Aye. Maybe that's what he's been up to. Ooh, he's a dark horse, is that one?
Do you have to say it with such lascivious approval?
Oh, why not? That ought to be having some fun, if that's what he is having.
Like you used to.
Used to? I still do. With you. Funny how being married hasn't spoiled it. I mean, who will believe that beneath that very cool exterior, well, that's a passion.
Stop it. I haven't got the time.
Oh, shame.
Yeah. But right now I must get ready to go and see Jeremy.
I see. Good job I'm not the jealous type, isn't it? I wish I was coming with you, though.
You can if you want to.
No, I can't. I have to stay here and run my thriving business. And keep out of the way of your mother.
Oh, you haven't got on badly lately.
And that's because I have been keeping out of her way. Excuse me. Can I get through here? Oh.
Hello, Maurice.
Shall I?
You're meeting someone here, are you?
No. No one in particular.
But you wouldn't want to pass your lunchtime with me.
I thought it might have been the other way round.
After what happened the other night.
Aye. It's not too great being turned away at the door.
Is it too late to say we both feel really rotten about it? Neither of us had any idea that you hadn't got the editor's job. So, will you forgive us?
Of course I will. Though I still don't see why Cliff had to be so heavy-handed about it.
That was because we were having a crisis of our own down in the basement.
Oh, you're having a row.
Yeah, but not with each other, for a change. With George. At least it was Cliff and George, mainly.
Well, it wouldn't have helped then. Having my troubles on top of it all.
Might have taken our minds off it. Cliff didn't know it at the time, but George was about to leave while he was giving you an earful over the intercom.
What was the barney about?
Our flat. You know I told you George is our new landlord.
Uh-huh.
Well, me being sweet and innocent, I thought it'd be pretty good for us. Especially when George offered to let us live there rent-free.
That can be dodgy.
That's how Cliff felt. But he had other suspicions as well, and for once he was right. George has used all the money Mum left to pay for the house.
Even though some of it was promised to you?
Yeah. He didn't ask us first or anything, just sprung it on us. Cliff went through the roof.
I don't blame him.
I did at first. He was being so rude to George. But afterwards, my blood began to boil as well.
Uh-huh. Any way of sorting it out?
I haven't a clue. Cliff reckons he might be onto something, but he hasn't come up with the details yet. Probably be all hot air when he does.
Yeah, I've got a mate who's a lawyer. Known him since school days. Do you want me to quiz him on it for you?
Oh, that's nice of you, Maurice. But I think enough people are involved in this tangle already.
I think we ought to be turning back to the house, Jeremy. It's freezing.
Oh, but Mummy, you must see Skipper's boat.
I have seen it, darling, once or twice.
I come out to see it every day, even if we're not going on the river.
That's very dutiful of you.
Is it?
Don't worry. I'm only teasing.
Oh. Look, there it is. Isn't she a beauty?
Yes, it's a lovely boat.
Perhaps Daddy will have one day.
Yes, he's quite keen on boats, isn't he?
I'll say. He loves walking by the canal. If he was here, I bet he'd be out on the river every day.
Would you like me to try and arrange for him to come down and see you?
Yes, please.
Peter Tyson.
Good morning, Peter.
Oh, hello, Lynn.
Oh, still out of favour, am I?
Well, I'm sorry if it sounded like that.
Can I try and make amends? I went down to Maidenhead to see Jeremy yesterday.
Oh, I thought you'd be down there staying with him.
I had hoped to, but things have been much too hectic here at the old bakery, and that had repercussions at the restaurant, too. Fortunately, the general chaos has more or less subsided now.
Oh, good.
But to get back to Jeremy, he'd like you to get down there to see him, if that was at all possible. Mother and Brad would be delighted to see you as well.
Well, I'd love to go, of course, but the thing is, when?
As far as Jeremy's concerned, the sooner the better. Could you make it today?
Oh, I really don't think so, Lynn.
Oh, what's the problem?
Well, it's what to do with the girls. This is up to her eyes at the paper, learning the ropes from Mike.
Yes, I can imagine you won't be seeing much of her over the next few weeks. What about Father?
Oh, he's feeling exploited.
As usual.
If not more so. He babysat for us the night we went out to celebrate Liz's appointment.
I know. I phoned while he was at it.
Yes, well, he considers that the end of his duties for the week.
Oh.
He wouldn't even cooperate yesterday when I wanted to pop out to the shops for 10 minutes.
Well, why don't you take the girls with you? You'd be driving down, wouldn't you?
Yes, but you know how Jeremy feels towards his sisters these days.
I'm sure my mother can divert Abby and the twins while you men go off together. Jeremy's dying for you to go out on Brad's boat.
Yes, I'd rather like that myself. Well, thanks for setting it up, Lynn. I'll set to and try and organize things this end.
Mr. Underdown will be out in a sec.
Thanks a lot.
Hello, Shirley.
Oh, sorry to bother you like this, George, but I hope to catch you in your lunch break.
Oh, you have? I'm just on my way out.
Oh, I'll walk along with you then, if that's all right.
Of course it is. I was going to a cafe today, not home, but if you'd like to join me...
Oh, that's very kind of you, George, but I've got sandwiches back at the office. I don't want them to go to waste.
Well, in that case, shall we get some fresh air while we talk, and then we can go our separate ways?
Right. Nice little garden, this.
Yes. Since it's right next door to the bank, I come here often. Doesn't really worry me what time of year it is. Shall we sit on a bench for a moment?
Oh, good idea.
Would it be that you and Cliff have had second thoughts about my offer?
Well, George...
I was, as I think you realise, extremely upset at Cliff's reaction. But, for your mother's sake, for the sake of her memory, I am willing to let bygones be bygones. If Cliff is willing to come to his senses. I know, of course, that you were very pleased at the way I'd planned things out for you.
I was.
You make it sound as though your approval is something of the past.
Well, I didn't think about it properly before.
But now you've turned against me as well.
Why does it have to be seen like that? Approval, turning against. Can't it just be a matter of straightforward discussion?
When Cliff's involved...
I think you're both as bad as each other.
Yes. You do what?
In situations like this, Cliff gets all hot-headed, shouts about the place, and loses his sense along with his temper.
And you accuse me of being the same? Oh, Shirley, if it wasn't for your mother...
For heaven's sake, George, will you stop bringing Mum into it all the time? She was a part of my life for a darn sight longer than she was part of yours. And I don't use her as an excuse for everything I do.
Excuse?
I'm sorry. But it seems like that sometimes. Anyway, to go back to what I was saying, since you didn't give me a chance to finish.
When I said you were both as bad as each other, I meant in losing sight of whatever's actually being talked about.
Yes, but...
Please, George. Cliff does it in his way, and you do it by becoming all stuffy and sanctimonious.
Is that really how you see me?
Only at your worst moments, which aren't that often.
That's something, I suppose.
I know it's hard to believe sometimes, but even Cliff can be quiet and reasonable. George, if he was to try and be like that this evening, would you be willing to talk to him?
Well...
Or have I just gone and spoiled his chances? Double 304.
Hello, Claire. It's Nicola.
Hello.
How are things going that end?
They've settled on Mike's successor.
Oh, is it someone he approves of?
Very much so. It's Liz.
Oh, but that's marvellous. It means he'll have less regrets when he's working for us. Is he getting any writing done? Come on, don't be shy.
None at all at the moment.
Oh, well, only to be expected under the circumstances. Look, don't tell him I asked you.
All right.
It'll be one less pressure for him.
Well, that will certainly be a help. Actually, I was going to phone you over the weekend, Nicola, about coming down to Bath early in the week.
Well, the main reason I'm calling now is to see if you could possibly make it down here tomorrow.
I suppose I could. Oh, it's Saturday. Mike could look after Sue.
I think you all ought to come.
Oh, but Sue would hate being dragged around from house to house. She's still being a bit difficult about the move.
There's only one house you'll want to see.
Oh, dear. Is the market that bad suddenly?
Not as far as you're concerned. Do you remember that house you liked so much?
Yes.
Well, the people who pipped you at the post have run into mortgage difficulties. So, it's up for grabs again.
Now remember, I don't want you sailing off into the sunset.
No, dear.
Tea will be at 4:30 sharp.
Yes, dear.
I'm sorry to sound such a dragon, Peter, but I know what these two are like when they get anywhere near the river.
I hope you don't mind having the girls left with you.
Not at all. I shall enjoy it. Bye, Gran. See you at 4:30 sharp. You'd better. Or else. Or else what? Don't risk finding out. Bye for now. Bye. Hey, Dad, I've had lots of rides in the Rolls.
You know, Peter, this young son of yours has a strange partiality towards expensive automobiles.
Well, as long as he gets the occasional chance to ride in yours, perhaps he won't expect us to get one.
Oh, I like your old banger, too, Dad.
Oh, charming.
Jeremy's been telling me you are keen on boats, Peter.
Well, I am when I have a chance. I did some sailing when we were in Holland last year.
Can we go there this year, Dad?
I'm afraid not.
Oh, why not?
Oh, all sorts of complicated reasons.
Abercrombie?
I'm afraid so.
I don't understand.
I'll tell you all about it one day when you're older.
Well, if you ever feel like getting out on the water, let me know.
Oh, thanks a lot, Brett.
Hey, what about me?
You? Well, I guess you can come too, sometimes.
I was glad to see you being nice to your sisters, Jeremy.
Oh, that's all right. They weren't being so diabolical as usual.
Where'd you come out with, Jeremy?
I learned it off Alexis when we went to the soccer match. The day he broke his leg.
Oh, you never said anything about a soccer match before.
But it was one of the best things I've ever done.
Alexis broke his leg playing?
Not likely. It was a proper match. First division. Thousands and thousands of people there. It was magic.
So why did you keep quiet about it?
Oh,
Because your mother thought I wouldn't approve.
she wasn't very pleased either. Rob and Alexis took me without asking.
I see.
But
Sounds to me like you've let the cat out of the bag, young man.
First of all, George, I want to apologize for flying off the handle. I said things in the heat of the moment which, well, it must have hurt you.
Yes, they did, Cliff, very much, but I accept your apology.
Good. Now, the second thing is, thanks for letting us come here to see you tonight.
Oh, I think you can thank Shirley for that. She put some rather forceful arguments to show that perhaps I've not been as reasonable as I might.
You didn't tell me anything about that.
Didn't I? Well, you haven't told me what you've got up your sleeve either.
Up your sleeve, Cliff?
Oh, no, in my pocket, actually. Well, at least it should be. Oh, hell, I haven't gone and left it somewhere, have I?
Calm down, Cliff.
Oh, no. Here it is. What do you mean, calm down?
You know very well this is to be a peaceful discussion. We've all agreed to that.
Yeah, okay. I was shouting at myself, right?
Even that's not allowed.
George, when she was putting these forceful arguments to you, you didn't happen to slip her a few bob to be on your side, did you?
I have never engaged in that sort of thing.
Now, don't you start.
Eh?
Oh, you're right, Shirley. You're right. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're losing me now.
Forget it. Tell us about this bit of paper of yours.
Well, after things went wrong the other night, I thought the best thing to do was to take legal advice.
Cliff, you can't sue George.
I'm not going to, for heaven's sake.
Well, that's a relief.
But I wanted to talk to someone who could come up with a proper formula for sorting out our differences. In fact, I thought George might approve of me acting like this, since I'm not being so impetuous as usual.
I think I'm beginning to be impressed.
But solicitors cost a lot of money, Cliff.
Well, this one kept the charges down, because I know him.
Who is he?
Daniel Freeman, remember? He was on the committee when we were fighting off the property developers last year.
I remember. A very pleasant man.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he drew up this document for me. But can you have a look at it, George?
Mm-hmm. £1 a week rent?
Well, that's because if we lived there for free, we'd lose all our tenants' rights. Daniel confirmed that.
But I wouldn't have taken advantage.
Yeah, I know, George, I know.
Oh,
but...
All right, Cliff, yes, I think I understand. At the end of 2 years, and on the completion of the necessary conversion work...
done by me and my little building firm, I hope.
A 99-year lease on the aforesaid basement property to be transferred to... But, Cliff, I told you that eventually the whole house would belong to you and Shirley freehold.
Yeah, but I hope you are not going to be dying for a good few years yet, George. And, well, there could be all sorts of reasons why we might want to move.
And owning the lease on the flat would give us the means.
Yeah. Yes, I see that. And if you don't mind my saying it, on this particular occasion, Shirley, I think your mother would have approved.
Oh, George, you mean your sign?
Well, I must read it through carefully again, but... I'll get my pen ready, just in case.
Put that bread knife down, Peter.
What? Oh, darling, you made me jump.
Well, I thought I might catch you at it.
At what?
Making breakfast. I told you last night I was going to run the house for the weekend.
Well, I forgot. Anyway, I was half asleep by the time you got back. Did you tell me anything else of interest?
Oh, I doubt it. I was pretty drowsy myself. But at least I got through enough office work to be able to give you a free hand today and tomorrow. So, what would you like to do with all this lovely spare time?
Oh, one thing I must do is clear some space for the builders.
Good Lord, are they starting already?
Well, only the very preparatory stages. Some materials. Seems to be jumping the planning permission gun, rather, but actually I think they know what they're doing.
I'm surprised they work on a Saturday.
Oh, it'll only be this morning, as far as I can gather. And it'll mostly be a matter of dumping materials on us.
Mm-hmm. Hence the need for space.
Yes. I'm afraid we can already start waving goodbye to one of the flower beds.
Oh, well, at least there's nothing much in them at the moment. When are you going to break the news to Arthur that he's getting his beloved extension after all?
Oh, might as well be today. Once the men start turning up, it's going to be pretty obvious.
I wonder why he didn't let you bring up the subject the other day.
Well, he probably thought when I said we wanted to talk to him that it was about old people's homes.
Poor old thing. Now then, sit down and let me make you some breakfast.
Too late. I've had mine. Serve the girls.
Boiled. In that case, before you head for the garden, will you sit and talk to me while I make mine?
Righto.
You can tell me about your afternoon with Jeremy.
Oh, we had a pleasant hour out on Brad's boat.
Did it make you long for one of your own?
No, I just concentrated on enjoying myself. Over the past few months, I think I've managed to train myself not to have expensive dreams. Brad did offer to let me take further advantage of his boat when I felt like it.
Oh, that's nice.
Jeremy liked the idea a lot.
So the father-son reunion worked out well?
Quite well, except for one thing. They've been keeping from me the fact that Rob and Alexis took him off to a football match several weeks ago.
So?
Well, darling, it could have been dangerous for a child of his age. Even if there wasn't any violence, he could easily have got lost in the crowd.
But he didn't, I assume?
Well, even so. And it all happened without Lynn's knowledge or approval.
Well, I hope you're not going to make an issue of it, darling.
Why?
Because it's not fair on Jeremy. It would make it look as though he'd been telling tales out of school. Good morning, Arthur.
Morning, Elizabeth.
I'm just about to grill some bacon. Would you like some?
No, thank you. I breakfasted several hours ago.
Boiled again.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, don't you worry, Father. Would you like to sit down, anyway?
Why should I?
Well, because it'll give me a chance to tell you about something that will be happening later today.
Oh, I haven't got time for idle chit-chat, Peter. As you may have noticed, I have my coat on. I'm about to go out. That is what I came in to tell you. But I shall be back in time for luncheon.
Oh, really?
Tell you what, Peter. Why don't you wait until the extension is built and then ask him to guess what it is?
There you are, Sue. We're coming into Bath Station now.
Are we?
You can see how beautiful the place is, even from the train.
Is it?
Most people think so, darling.
Do they?
Oh, you're being impossible. And don't you dare say, am I?
I wasn't going to. Where does the train go to after Bath?
Bristol. Why?
I'd like to see what Bristol's like.
We're not going to be living in Bristol.
I know. But I'd like to see what it's like anyway.
Yeah, well, that's just too bad, young lady, because we're getting off here.
Mike! Claire! Over here! Hello, Nicola.
Hello. Oh, thought you must have been held up when we didn't see you inside the station.
There was nowhere for me to park, so I had to hover here by the car. Hello, Sue. Haven't seen you for a while.
Hello.
I hope you're going to like this house your mummy and daddy might be buying.
Say something, Sue.
Why?
I'm sorry, Nicola. She's been in this mood all through the journey.
Doing her best to spoil it for us?
I didn't ask to come.
That's no excuse for being rude.
Well, perhaps we'd all better get going.
Here's your coffee, Arthur.
Thank you.
I'm sorry the place isn't as tidy as it might be. I went and overslept.
I've been up for hours, and what sleep I've had recently hasn't been very restful.
I know what you mean. It's been like that for me most of the week. That's why I needed to catch up last night.
What's happened to the noise?
From the shop, you mean?
Yes. There doesn't seem to be any of that music you've been complaining about over the last few weeks.
Ramesh put a stop to it. Apparently the takings haven't been very good. A combination of the music putting customers off and Manji being too busy listening to it himself to serve people properly.
So, things have turned out well for you, at least.
Well, compared to some matters, that was one of my smaller worries.
Some matters?
Family problems with Shirley and Cliff. But they've now been ironed out, thank goodness.
I wish I could say the same, George. I've found myself trying to avoid Peter all week, which is difficult considering that we live in the same house. Though I only live there under sufferance, of course.
But why have you been avoiding him?
Because he keeps wanting to talk to me.
About your future?
Well, what else can it be? Ever since I came across those brochures about old people's homes, I know he's been wanting to have it out with me.
And that's why you've been sleeping so badly?
Well, it certainly hasn't helped, knowing my own son wants to be rid of me. Although that doesn't stop him taking advantage of my presence while he can. He's always leaving me to look after my granddaughters while he's gallivanting out and about.
Oh, dear. I wish I'd been able to help earlier.
You mean you can help now?
It all depends on how you feel about it, of course. But the thing is, Arthur, very soon I'm going to be moving out of this place.
Oh. Well, that's very kind of you, George, but I'm not sure that it would suit me here.
No, I didn't think living in such close proximity to a shop would be your cup of tea, Arthur, with or without music coming through the walls.
But you sold Cane House, presumably in order to buy somewhere smaller.
No, I wouldn't say smaller exactly.
This is the box room.
A special room for boxes.
For storing all sorts of things into.
What's wrong with cupboards?
Sue, please.
Sorry. Can I go in the garden?
If you like, dear.
I'm sure she can wait until we all go out there, Mrs. Mullen.
Oh, it's no bother. Come along this way, dear.
Great.
Now, you just Sue really is the limit.
Yes.
What are you smiling about?
Well, two things, really. I mean, one is that I think Sue's interest in the garden is a way of making a concession.
You mean now she's here, she doesn't think it's too bad?
Well, at least she's starting to keep her options open.
And the second thing?
Well, by whisking Mrs. Mullins away, it gives us a chance to talk about the place without being polite.
Oh, dear. What don't you like about it?
Well, curiously enough, it's something Sue pointed out.
Well, she's hardly said a word.
Yeah, until we got here. It was indiscreet of her to blurt it out, but I think it's a terrible waste of this room just to use it for storage. Just look at the view out of the window.
It is lovely. You can see a lot of the city.
Do you remember there was a room very like it in Nicola's house?
That's right, her study. Ah.
Yes, crossed my mind the second we walked into it.
You think the muse would return once you got your desk and things in here?
Oh, I think the muse was already here. He'd come ahead of us.
But what about the rest of the house, Mike? Do you have any worries there?
Not that I can think of. I mean, we'll have to have the inevitable survey done, of course. But otherwise, it's smashing.
Oh, darling. Oh.
Well, of course, you'll only be allowed to distract me in that fashion at certain intervals.
Laid down by contract.
A very flexible contract. Oh, Claire, why the tears?
Sorry, Mike. But they needed to come out.
Oh, well, here's a hanky.
Thanks. That's better. I suppose it's the release of tension.
Yes, of course.
But now...
All your problems are packing ones.
Oh, thanks.
But I promised to do my fair share of that. It was very unfair putting the burden of house hunting on your shoulders.
There wasn't much you could do about it.
Ah, well, from now on, I'll be more of a free agent. Yeah, a few days ago, I wasn't sure how it'd all go, but I must say Liz has been learning the ropes incredibly quickly.
Good.
Hello?
What is it?
Have a look down in the garden.
It's quite large.
Oh, that's not what caught my eye. No, it's Sue.
Oh, no, she's climbing over the wall.
Yeah, but it looks as though she's been invited. You just come this way a bit. See? There's a boy helping her.
Oh, yes, I see. There are rabbits running about all over the place.
Yes, amongst other furry things. God, it looks like a regular zoo. You know what this means, don't you? Sue the naturalist won't be wanting to move into this house. She'll be wanting to move next door.
There's a customer I remember.
Good heavens.
But do you remember me?
Well, of course I do, Mrs. Brewer. How are you?
Oh, not doing too badly. I haven't broken anything yet this morning.
That's good. But I'm surprised to see you. Pleasantly surprised, of course. You're helping Donald out for the weekend, are you?
Oh, a bit longer than that. You see, Donald's been running into a spot of bother with the brewery.
I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I think less people would hear you if you talked in a normal voice.
Is that better?
A little bit. What sort of trouble?
He isn't married.
Yeah, I see. I suppose I shouldn't be nosy, but who is it he isn't married to?
Anybody.
Anybody? Oh, I thought you meant...
I know what you thought I meant, my lad. No, they like married couples to run pubs, and Donald was supposed to be getting married when he got this place, or so he told them, though I don't think there was ever anything in it.
You mean he was deceiving them?
Deceiving himself, more like. He's been nearly getting married for 30 years.
To the same lady?
I should hope not, for her sake. No, there's been a whole string of them.
And they've all let him down.
That's typical of a man, that is.
What?
Automatically thinking that the woman must be in the wrong.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. No, it's Donald himself. He's his own worst enemy. He can never bring himself to take the final plunge.
But I don't see what this has to do with you.
Well, I think the brewery finally tumbled that he's unlikely to go tripping up the aisle. But they do think he's a good landlord, so they've made a special concession in his case. He and I can run the Waggoners as brother and sister.
But you are brother and sister.
Well, that's what I said.
What about your market garden, though?
Oh, I was getting fed up with that anyway. Never been the same since my husband died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be. A change is as good as a rest. Anyway, by now you must be dining first, my dear. What's it to be?
Oh, a glass of white wine, I think, please.
Oh, coming up. I'll just move this tray out. Oh, here we go. Oh, Bill, at least there weren't any glasses on it.
Anyway, Nicola, you've never seen so many rabbits and hamsters and guinea pigs. And a tortoise. And you said there was a grass snake somewhere, only no one has seen it for months.
It's probably hibernating.
I'm not sure. He might have been making it up, because he wanted to see if I was frightened. But I wasn't. So he thought I was all right.
And you thought he was all right?
Oh, yes. Oh, look, Mummy and Daddy are coming.
And looking rather pleased with themselves. So, what do the estate agents have to say?
Oh, we only got in there minutes before they put up the clothesline.
But they'll be in touch with our solicitors first thing Monday morning. So, we're on our way.
Ah, you're later than I expected, Father. But lunch isn't quite ready.
I would have been here sooner, but I had a long talk with George Underdown, and then I went on to do a little shopping.
Very little shopping, by the look of it.
What? Oh, yes, only one item, but apt in the circumstances. A bottle of sherry to celebrate.
Father, you're a sly one. You guessed. Or else you overheard us talking about
What
it.
on earth do you mean?
Well, if you care to look through the window, do you see the timber and things?
Yes, what about it?
Well, it's the first stage towards the extension you've been wanting us to have built.
Oh, no.
Waggoner's Walk was written by Terry James and directed by Anton Gill and Penny Lester. You can hear the Omnibus edition each Sunday at 5 minutes. And the next episode of Waggoner's Walk you can hear tomorrow at 5 minutes past 5 here on Radio 2. Well, just before the news, there's time for me to remind you that after the news, Charlie Chester will be here with your Sunday soapbox, and then at 7:02, Treble Chance.